Hey Philip, thanks for joining me today.
No problem, Caelan. How are you?
All good, all good. No complaints on my end.
Very good, very
Would
good.
would love to just hear of. I know we're touching on, I think, 16 months now since we started working together. I'd like to get some feedback on what you thought since we started, even I suppose pre-working with us and now post-working with us 16 months later, how the business has been impacted from an email point of view.
Sure, no problem. And I suppose what I'll do is I'll just give a little bit of intro into who I am and what the company does and what we're about. So my name is Philip Wynne. I'm the managing director of a company called the Flower Factory. We operate a couple of retail locations and we operate a couple of websites also. Post-COVID, we obviously felt that there was a shift towards online buying in flowers moreover, and we had some experience many years ago through other brands because we're selling flowers since I think 1968, which is for more years than I care to remember, but I'm in it since I'm 6 years of age. And we did many moons ago start the online crusade in flower business, but our business, we sold it metamorphosized into retail, and then we pulled it back into online. And now we're one of the largest, if not the largest, online flower seller in Ireland, with the latest cut-offs and unbelievable service levels. We're operating 7 days a week and so on. We provide a 6-day nationwide delivery service, a 7-day Dublin-wide delivery service. We employ about 34 people now, which is not easy. So I have to go back to school and get a psychology degree and maybe a psychiatric degree. That's where we are. I think, we see huge potential in online flower selling.
In fairness, the business that you've built over the generations of a family business is commendable to yourself. And I think even the service levels that you guys give, even if anybody looks at any of the Trustpilot reviews and does a quick analysis of them, you can see how good your service is. But even from when we started with you guys, I know we got all the fundamentals in place, the pre-purchase flows, the post-purchase flows. We also really focused on the product education side of things, because there's one thing getting flowers, and everybody thinks that, I know you always say that the flowers come from far afield, 2 weeks in transit, and people think that the flowers are going to go off as soon as they get them, but that's not really the case. So one thing that
No, it's not at all. And when we engaged with you guys, it took you about 3 months to convince me that this was the way to go. But I'm delighted I did. We had, whilst I'm a complete technophobe, I've become familiar with the jargon that the youthful and the cleverer online gurus now speak. So I call it geek speak. But in fairness, you guys taught me about lifetime value of customer. You guys taught me about customer retention. So when you guys came to us, we had organic customer retention, which was floating around about 30%. And we've enjoyed, I think, in excess of late 30s, early 40s in terms of our customer retention rate. So really what's happening is that if you fish on Google, it becomes very expensive and an upside down pyramid in terms of your Google ad spend, and the agencies around promoting that in many cases outweigh the gross margin that you'll actually make on your product. So we now use Google more as a frontline poke, if you like, into the market, and then we provide the back-end service through through email and other vehicles like that. Another vehicle we're very proud of is customer service, which is also a big part of email as well. So what you guys have done is really grow that customer retention, grow that confidence. We do notice that when you send the emails, both sales and, funnily enough, the ones that are more point of interest, like variety names and how to care for your product and these kind of things, seem to give a customer a nudge to purchase. So when you send an email, we see on the day you've sent it or the next day or the coming days, we see a spike in sales. We also see some people taking trouble to email me back based on the automated email where I tell the family story to say that, my mother started selling flowers in 1968 in Drumcondra and we're still at it now. And people go back and say, it's lovely to meet Philip. And I think, there is something in that we are an Irish company. We do need to promote that. There is a sense of loyalty, and I think we need to harness that, and email is a good way to do it.
Yeah, and to be honest, like, you guys need to give yourselves some credit as well. I think one of my favorite campaigns I worked on last year was the one where with the Make-A-Wish. It was fantastic what you guys have done with that charity and other charities that are in Ireland. But even just building on like the post-purchase side of things, I know you touched on that people reply back to you, but one thing that we really focused on was, like, the majority of people that come onto a website will only really buy one time, but it's out of the people that do buy a second time, when do they actually buy that second time, and in what time frame? So that's one thing that we really wanted to focus on, was what is the time frame. And interestingly enough, 80% of the people who actually buy a second time buy within the first 30 days. And out of all of those people, most of them buy within the first 10 days. So because the flowers are getting dropped off within 24 hours, that product's being adopted. And obviously the feedback is good. They've got intent to go and buy straight away. So tailoring our strategy around that and trying to get them back within that time frame is crucial for us, because if we don't, well, then we could lose them, because most of them buy within the first 10 days,
We've also noticed that flowers is fickle, and certainly on the first purchase that it is occasion driven. There seems to be a sense of stress around the customer wanting to place their order in case they miss the occasion. Typically this happens on a Saturday, where people will ring, and we have a skeleton crew of a Saturday, and if you miss the call and you ring them back in 20 minutes, they say thanks, but we've already gone somewhere else. I don't know of any other business where that happens, and I think it is occasion driven. A huge part of what we do is based on trust. The email helps do that, because it does bring a sense of validation and support, especially when you're telling people how to look after the flowers. I think that's really important. We're not huge on social media. It is something that is a constant thorn in the side, because other companies do it. But I think the best way to communicate and to build loyal customers is to make sure that the customers know that, one, you actually make the bouquet, two, know what you're selling, and you know about flowers, and I think that's a really important message.
It's 16 months now since we've been working together, and the email's been going fantastic. I think we've doubled the retention rates. We've really have all the fundamentals in place. We learned how to tackle peaks much better now. From, I think before we only had a couple of peaks last year, to now we've nearly doubled the peaks throughout the year alongside the acquisition team. So there's certainly growth there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And the peak is critical in the flower business, because we really do need our customers to place their orders early. And because it's a live system, if you run to cut off, it just becomes incredibly difficult for our team to ensure quality of service, quality of product. So the earlier the orders are placed, the better for all, and email is a great tool to encourage that. The whole learning on it is, and maybe we should do an email around where the flowers come from, and how does the Suez Canal affect freight, and all of those things, so that people do have a better understanding for it. Email has proved very successful coming into peak, and we need to take what we've learned and do more of it, because Christmas is only around the corner.
Yeah, it'll be here before we know it.